It was a good experience knowing like that even when Holly was taking pictures, I could still see the flash, even though I was blindfolded. So just to know like my surroundings around me, what I'm still aware of, even though I had no vision. And you really take into consideration the noises behind you and the senses that were in the room. I felt the warmth of the modeling clay. Like we're just relaxed, we're having fun, and you could really feel the warmth and the sensation of everything around you. I kind of was more free with no vision. Because with vision, right, you can kind of almost put it the way you want it to be made. Or with no vision, you're just letting everything be free. She really enjoyed it. She really got into it. I found even when the music was playing in the background, when it was increasing, even though she has no hearing, she was still, I think, sensing it. So she was getting faster and faster with the music. She was laughing quite a bit. She thought it was pretty funny. I like how you can see all of her fingerprints. So you can actually see how rough and she was going on, like playing with it.
I just found it was, he's not a very expressive communicator, so a lot is through his body, like his body language and movements and that on a regular basis. And I noticed that he was actually picking the piece up out of my hands and was touching it, and that's how I knew he was interacting more with it, was when he actually took it upon himself to. I mean, it's definitely, you have to be on a comfort level to be that close with somebody, hands on hands and hands under hands. Yeah, I think because it brings you on a whole new level of comfort. So when you're comfortable with somebody, then you're more willing to communicate with them. He noticed that his friend was sitting beside him and he doesn't see her very often. So I know I was told he was distracted by her being there. So I think he will take that with him, that his friend was here. And that it's something that he's never worked with before. So with him actually picking it up out of my hands, yeah, I would like to try it with him alone and see without any distractions what happens. To me, it looks like a whale.
I gave it to Steven and he felt it a little bit. He didn't really like smush it around or anything. He like tapped his hands on it and then he started just kind of pushing his thumb through it, made the hole, which a lot of his toys at home have holes in them, so I think that's just what he likes maneuvering with his thumbs. And then he would take his hands away a little bit, and then I just wait for him and just kind of hold it out front so that it was there for when he wanted it back. And he'd put his hands back on it, and he'd put his thumbs through the hole again and tap his hands on it. When he would take his hands away, like I would wait for him, and he would more look for my hands first, because he really enjoys like playing with other people's hands and stuff. So I would just kind of take his hands and guide it back towards it and like put my hands over his kind of, so it was like hand over hand almost as to what he would, when he would touch it. Maybe this side of it, it's got a lot of like his fingerprints and everything. You can see a lot of the indents that he's made on it, yeah.
I found that Brittany really thought it was funny that I was blindfolded. She usually won't touch us too often, but she really spent several minutes feeling my blindfold and my nose. I definitely felt it was certainly a different type of communication with Brittany. Usually I rely very much so on looking for her body language, and not being able to see that was definitely interesting, and feeling her touching my arms and feeling into my hands, I think was very interesting for her. She's very happy. She's been wandering. She sometimes needs to walk to process, which is wonderful, and she's wanted to walk this entire time. So she definitely must have gotten so much out of it for her to need to walk this much, I think. I feel like it was a wonderful, absolutely fantastic experience. Being able to move my hands with hers, how she wants, absolutely fantastic. It was very interesting seeing how timidly she approached it, how she waited to feel me squeeze the wax first before she really tried to touch it too much. I don't know if she realized that it was malleable at first, but I squeezed it in her hand and it oozed out of the top of my hand and underneath, and she was feeling that, and she just really seemed to like it and start playing with it at that point with us.
Would you repeat this experience by yourself with her?
Absolutely, in a heartbeat. I think she would enjoy it greatly again, and I think that it would be even something to introduce to the other consumers that didn't come. I think it was a very positive experience.
It was fun though, because it was like we were communicating in like the way she communicates with us and her surroundings. So, but even though I could still hear, like, I was thinking of what she was probably thinking this was, because she plays with Play-Doh, but this is not the same texture as Play-Doh. So it's kind of new for her too. Yeah, it was like curiosity at first, and then she drifted away, and then I was like play with it a little bit, and then so it was like on and off. So I had to give her some space to notice what it was and get used to it. Usually, she'll hold my hand, and that's like communication as far as we get. But then when we were molding it together, like going around each other's hands, that was a deeper communication than we usually get doing other activities. That was nice. I liked it. Looks like a cloud.
Yeah, I do recall her rubbing, and then I recall her rubbing really, really, really quick. Yes. So this is it. Yeah, I could feel her body motion, like how she was upset. Like you could tell, like this was not her texture.
Yeah.
Yes, she's not used to working with this texture. Yes. I wasn't surprised that she kind of pushed back from it. And she only explored maybe 30 seconds maybe, and then I could just feel her pushing away. And then I just started to relax her, like try to rub her top of her hand, and then you came along and you broke it into two small balls, and I introduced that to her, and then she started to roll it together, then she pushed it away. But I'm not surprised though. Like I was hoping to get more from her, like more to explore it. Before we start, I believe we call it the drum, the lady that was playing.
Yeah, yeah.
I took Talis over there just to get her to feel the drum, like, you know, and Talis started to smile more when the beat was going on. Then I brought it back, but I think after that she just had a feeling that there was more going on. Yeah, I think it was the pressure.
Yeah, the pressure.
Yeah. Yeah, I am going to try it at home. I am going to mention it to the other IBs that, you know, to experience with her and see what they come across too, but I would love to try it at home with her.
Yeah,
I think we'll get better results.
I think it had to do with just the whole effect of the drums and the music, and just having to sit there and play with something. I don't think she gets to do that a lot. And she's not usually like that, so no. She is most of the time, but still, I felt like this went extremely well because she's completely content and satisfied the entire time. Yeah.
You think that she was content because of that? Was she?
Yeah, she was.
And how is she now?
She's laughing around.
Well, she was
Yeah, before too, and rocking away on the chair, yeah. The stuff that I gave her in her right hand, she mostly bit it off, but I found that in her left hand, she was able to press against it a lot better.
It was almost some moments during it was a little bit overwhelming because I had to keep my emotions in check. Because, I don't know, you can really appreciate your senses when you're under simulation. You know, my hearing was heightened because I didn't have sight. I could hear things more. It was amazing. It was spiritual. Almost felt like it was a great bonding moment for Kevin and I. I've known this man for 2.5 years. And I've worked with him for 2.5 years, and this here made me kind of just with like a better communication. Him and I working together, you know, it was almost like teamwork, but I was following his lead. Because when I let him hold it by himself, he enjoyed that as well. And he likes hands under hands. He doesn't like you to be too directive with him. This way here is okay, but this way I like better. It's almost like a hand with a thumbs up.
It was amazing to feel through Tony, because Tony would also try to incorporate my fingers with his as we were sculpting together, and then he sculpted around me. Tony loves to play, like he's very tactile, and you can tell his mood by his touch.
Yes.
And I found like he has a very relaxed and playful touch. This was a curious and very relaxed touch, and he enjoyed it. He was talkative, but in his fingers he was very calm. He was very soft. He will come in close, and we will have like eye to eye, and it will be cheek to cheek. And when he came in close, we were cheek to cheek, but he could not see because it was a dark blindfold. And I could feel in his fingers that he knew it was me, but something wasn't right. So we worked through that, and
he accepted it.
He accepted that, yes. Some of his vocals, I could picture what his face looked like, because like his happy, and I knew there he was loving it, because when he's really happy, he's like, and so when I heard that, I couldn't see it. But I could see, I knew by the sound, like that was probably the face he had. I think it was more, I was more in tune other ways, like by feel, like by his fingers. I could tell by his fingers more. And perhaps that's why I felt it more relaxed than normal, because I didn't see what he was trying to do with my fingers before. Like I just felt. It was amazing, yeah, and unique, something we've both never done. And yeah, I think we bonded even more today with it.
Good.
And I'd love some of our other workers to experience this as well, if we were able to, yeah. It was amazing. And one was one hand and one was the other. This one he sort of twisted more, and then he just shaped this around more.
Being blindfolded actually made me a little bit nervous because it showed how much I depend on my vision to be able to communicate with Hannah. Hannah really, her main way of communicating is by blowing 2 kisses to ask for something, or by blowing 1 kiss as a confirmation, or by blowing no kiss as a negative confirmation. And so I couldn't communicate with her at all without being able to see her. And I was trying to listen for the kisses, but I couldn't hear them with everything that was going on in the room. So I really had no way of knowing that she was okay. And so, you know, when I had to ask her questions, I would lift up my blindfold, make sure she was okay, and then put it back down and continue with the process. Hannah was really relaxed. She was really relaxed. When we had practiced in her chair, she wasn't that relaxed. It was, you know, the first time it being introduced, and I think a new thing can sometimes make her nervous, and so that's why we practiced. But this time, with her being out of her chair, being able to be on the floor, and being able to use both hands, I think was really nice, because in the past, she'd only been using one hand when I was sitting on her right-hand side. But this time, with her laying on the floor, she was able to put her hands together and create this shape. Well, I really see that my hand fits on the bottom and her hand fits in the top. Yes. So I really see how it's both of our, you know, her clenched little fist and my open hand, and it really shows how, you know, how much she needs help kind of thing sometimes, but how we can do anything together.